Moving on to what I think is the shortest verse of the Tao, the movement of Tao, chapter 40. Tao is always returning. It is always yielding. In the manifestation, all things are born into existence, yet surrender and are renewed every moment within Tao. Okay, that's it. That's the entire verse. And it's interesting because we look at everything as being linear. We look at life as if it is a linear thing, as if like I had an experience and now I move into this experience because I went to bed and I woke up and now I've had sleep and da da da. But when we look at Tao, there is no time, right? Time is just a construct, and so it's not a linear thing. There are theories in certain circles that we are constantly dissolving and being rebuilt every, like a million times a second. But what is our experience is that it's linear. It's that like this moment followed this moment, and now I'm moving in this linear fashion. But that's not necessarily true. I talk a lot about, free will being this idea that you can do two things in free will. One, you can tell the story of what is happening to you and surrender or resist. Like somewhere on that, for everything that you experience, you can either resist or surrender to that thing, and you can tell the story. And that's it. That's your extent of free will. That's kind of how I see it. Whether that's true or not, who knows? I also look at your life as you grow. You can change timelines, right? Multiple universes. You can jump timelines because you've changed. You have had some sort of awakening or whatever, and you shift timelines. This might be very esoteric and stuff, but this is what we're talking about in this. Like the movement of Tao is constantly to put you in a position to continue contributing to the unity that we just talked about with the planet and heaven and other beings. We talked about in chapter 39, if you are going through this linearly. So Tao is always returning. It is also always yielding. Okay, so there's two things that it's doing. It's yielding and it's returning. And I look at this as, we've discovered that the planet sort of like the universe is like rotating in a spiral. And so it's always returning to the same sort of position, but not the same place. And that's how we grow, right? We're like, oh, I'm experiencing this again from a new perspective. I'm experiencing this again from a new perspective. Now, in experiencing this, can I yield my past experience to this new experience to recognize there is no real repeating? Yes, I'm returning to this place, but I'm returning as a new person. Now, do I want to continue responding to everything the way I did when I was a 4-year-old? Because I was under the influence of my parents and I learned this thing, and now that this thing is, deeply embedded in me, this response to something, right? If someone, like maybe I was, my parents didn't come when I cried, and so I'm always afraid of being left, or I'm always afraid of being abandoned and stuff. And so I live my life from that place. I'm always returning, but am I yielding to this experience, right? Because I can return to the same place. I can say, oh, I'm being abandoned again. I'm being abandoned again. I'm being abandoned again. Oh, look, I'm being abandoned again. But am I yielding to this, or am I holding on to the old experience? So if I hold on to the old experience, oh, I'm being abandoned again, and I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to cry, and I'm going to run away, or I'm going to hide. I'm being abandoned again at 18. I'm going to, go in my bedroom, and I'm going to, hide. And then I'm being abandoned again from my job and my wife and my life and all of these things. I'm being abandoned in all these ways. And every time I do, I run away and I hide. I run away and I hide. I'm not yielding. I'm bringing with me this response. And that's what happens to so many of us when we have this traumatic experience as a child, and then we run through our lives and just unfold in a way that, you know, is not yielding. We're not saying, what is this experience, rather than me going into my subconscious. Now, is that hard? Yes, it's hard, but that's what Tao is doing. And that's the difference between like yielding to something and resisting something, right? You want to resist this experience so that you can continue so you can continue having the old experience. So Tao is returning. You're always going to experience cycles in your life. Those cycles are always going to happen. And every time you yield, you are going to be able to experience that cycle next time without the baggage that you've carried. So in the manifestation, all things are born into existence. All things, from that experience to you, to your ideas, your thoughts, and all of those things. All things are born into existence. Yet surrender and are renewed in every moment within Tao. Now, that's how you get renewed, right? You want to stay young, surrender. You want to stay full of energy, surrender. You want to keep doing things that you want, surrender, especially when those things want to, like, make it problematic for you, right? Like, don't have an idea that you want to continue doing something at all. Don't have an idea that you think you got the answer. Don't have an identity. The more you can surrender to all of the rules and all of the ideas that you think you have, the more you will be renewed by Tao. Because Tao is that's what Tao does. So you are birthed into existence. Now you are a creator birthing things into existence. The more you want to control those things, the more you want to control your identity, the more you want to control that which you've created, then you are resisting. So there's that balance, right? Resist or surrender. You are resisting your own renewal. You're resisting your own ability to be renewed in this moment, in this way, however and whatever this is. Thank you so much. That was chapter 40, the movement of Tao. And all of these, anytime we talk about Tao, it's like that's what we want to emulate. We want to try to emulate Tao. We want to try to emulate the nature of the universe. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.